So in this session, I really want to talk about kind of the foundation of classroom management, some core values of classroom management. If you saw my post on Facebook today, I said classroom management is not us trying to get control of a room full of children. Classroom management is us trying to make a connection with each and every child. This isn't about control, this is about connection. One thing that we like to say around here is if you're connected to a child, say there's a rope that you're connected with between you and them. When you need to pull on them for something, you can actually pull and they'll come with you. If your relationship is hanging by a thread and you try to pull on it, you're just going to rip it. So we're trying to build a connection with each and every child. Here I'm about to give you some of the practical stuff that we do for that every time children come into the room. I think what's really important is our classroom management with the lesson begins the moment kids enter the room. Our classroom management during worship time, praise time, prayer time, ministry time, all of that actually begins when a child walks into the room. That's where it all starts. If you can initiate a connection there, you'll have a much easier time during worship and during the lesson. Here's a couple of things I like to just describe boundaries with kids. Danny Silk would say, freedom with no boundaries is chaos. And I know a lot of times in kids' church, if we don't know how to set good boundaries, we either lean towards control or we let whatever happen, and we end up with a bunch of chaos. So freedom with no boundaries is chaos, but boundaries with no freedom is control. And so we want to actually navigate both those worlds, giving good boundaries, learning healthy boundaries, and giving a lot of freedom at the same time. The way I describe it to the kids is, if you have a water slide, I ask the kids this, I say, how many of you would like to go down a water slide that has no sides? All there is the bottom part. There's no sides to the water slide, it's just the bottom. Would you go down that water slide? It's super high, it has a bunch of turns, a couple spins and loops. How many of you would go down the water slide? And none of them ever want to go down a water slide that doesn't have sides, because they won't feel safe and they won't make it to the bottom, and they'll probably get hurt because there is nothing to hold them in. And I say, guys, when we're giving you these boundaries, when we're talking about these things, when we're helping you make adjustments here, we're actually putting sides on a water slide. We're trying to create a place where you can all have as much fun as possible and no one gets hurt and no one feels unsafe. So those are just a couple of things I say when it comes to classroom management, help you with a little bit of language and stuff. But back to initiating connection for kids. The way that we do this is based on the 5 love languages. If you don't know what those are, they are physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, and acts of service. So those are the 5 love languages that Gary Chapman wrote a book, and that's how people receive love, that's how people give love. So what we've set up in the room, when kids are coming in, their parents are dropping them off, kids are walking in, and they're bringing in their name tags, putting them on, stuff like that. We have at least 2 people standing there all the time to try and initiate connection with every child that comes in the room, using as many love languages as we can. So picture this, kids are walking in the room, we're giving them hugs and saying, good morning, so nice to see you, I'm so glad you're here. We're giving them physical touch, we're communicating love through physical touch and through words of affirmation. And when they bring their memory verse or they want to talk for a minute, we actually stop and talk to them and give them a moment. So now we're giving them quality time. We can't really do gifts or anything right there. Sometimes we bring in, I'll talk about this more later, tickets that we do, but sometimes we do give them little things as they enter. So we are initiating connection and relationship and love through words of affirmation, physical touch, and quality time, and even a little bit of gifts in there. But we're trying to do that with every single child. I tell our teams here, I say, the president tries to kiss babies so that his parents will vote for him. We're not doing any of that political stuff here. We're loving kids simply for the sake of loving them, but the result of a child feeling welcomed, feeling accepted, feeling loved, feeling valued is when you go on the stage to talk, they'll sit there and they'll listen more because they'll look at a person who loves them, and they actually want to listen to someone they know cares about them. So I think we do this in our small groups. We do this at the door. Immediately when they leave the door, they go into a small group here at Bethel, and when they get in that small group, the pastor who's there is actually greeting them as well. If we have visitors, they're like, "Hi, my name's Seth. What's your name? Good to meet you. Where are you from? How old are you? What's your favorite subject in school?" All these little things that seem like simple greetings are actually designed to create an atmosphere of love, to create connection, so that that connection is in place. And when you need to pull on classroom management, when you need to set boundaries, when you need to correct children, when you need to work through some hard stuff with kids, you actually have a connection, and they're more likely to come with you because you've initiated that connection with them. So I am going to do several more of these, like I said before, but for this one, I really just wanted it to feel, I really wanted to just give you that core value. Without connection, classroom management becomes control. Without freedom, boundaries become control. But without good boundaries, freedom becomes chaos. And connection actually, love actually will hold, it will make classroom management much easier. Let's just say that. A couple other things I want to tell you is when the kids enter the doors of Kids Church, we want it to feel as much as possible like they're entering the gates of heaven. Now, of course, we can't do everything that will happen when we enter the gates of heaven, but we want them to feel an atmosphere of love, acceptance, joy, celebration over who they are. We want them to feel peace. We want them to feel welcome in this place. And that's kind of the way I describe it. Coming into Kids Church, if it feels as much like heaven as we can make it feel like, they'll enjoy being there, they'll enjoy coming, they'll actually want to listen to you because you initiated that atmosphere with them when they showed up. There we go. That's all I wanted to cover today. I want to give you a couple minutes. It's 6:10. We're only going to be on here till 6:15. Are you planning a children's training conference this year? Yes, it's in September. It will be on the website soon, in a little bit. Forget the exact dates right now. We're going to do a children's leader school called Rewire in September. I think it's late September, 21, 23, something like that. We're also going to do one in the UK, a European Children's Leaders Advance, that we're working out all the details for that still, but you can watch for that. Those will all be on the ibethel.org website. Any other questions you have right now, I want to take them for a couple minutes. You can put them on here. Hello, beloved Christina. So fire away questions. Also, I'm putting together, I already have 6 more of these little sessions created. The other ones are going to be a bit longer because we're going to go more in depth in how to and language and things like that, and just even tips for like managing a large class. When I was in New York, we managed a class with 1,000 kids in it, and you could hear a pin drop. I'm going to tell you that key. I'm also going to tell you what we do here now with less children. We have about 95 children here in the room, and the things that we use to manage a big one. There will not be a live broadcast for that conference, but we will make it available for purchase afterwards. Is there a structure you recommend for classroom management? We will get into that more later. Yes, there's a structure. Yes, there's a person on the mic and people out in the crowd of children. It's teamwork. I'll tell you the teamwork structure that we have for classroom management probably in the 2nd session or the 3rd session. If you don't have any more questions right now, here's what you can do. You can go to sethdahl.com and you can ask your questions there, and I will get them and I'll continue to build these. Someone's asking right now, Christy, do you guys have a special needs classroom or is it inclusive? We do try to include kids that are higher functioning as much as possible. The goal is to fully integrate them into a regular classroom, but we do have 2 classes both on both campuses that are specifically geared towards special needs. And because there's been so many questions about that, we're going to bring in our special needs pastor who is going to teach on classroom management for special needs, both when they're integrated with all the other kids and when they're in a room with themselves, how to actually navigate that and do that. So that'll be another session, so you want to watch for that. Just another reminder, you're welcome for doing this. I love this stuff. I love helping as many people as we can, and we've got some good stuff here that we love to share. You're about to start teaching a class. You're excited. Good. Come on. I'm glad, Jen. And just so you know, if you want, you can put you can punch in your name. When you go to my website, there's a page that says Start Here, and it says, are you a children's pastor or are you a parent? And if you click on children's pastor, you can download a free sermon and you can punch in a question. And if you punch your email in there, then I can let you know ahead of time when we're scheduling all these, so you can see it, you can keep up to date with when these are coming, and it gives you a place to ask questions that's easier for me to keep track of on Facebook and social media and all that. But I do try to keep track of them all. So 613, thanks guys so much for joining. Again, it's a pleasure to serve you. Again, it's a pleasure to help you with classroom management, and that's what, yeah, bless you too so much, Jen. That's all I really wanted you to know today. If you can successfully build connection, everything else we do from this point on, when it comes to classroom management, will be much easier, and you'll actually have the ability to pull them along with you rather than break the relationship or damage the relationship. Confrontation and correction and discipline should actually be able to strengthen it, not break it. And that's what connection will do. That's what love will do. That's what initiating that when they first walk in the room will do for your kids in your class. So bless you guys. See you soon. Probably be in less than a week that we're going to do that. So watch for the next one when we get it scheduled. All right? Bless you so much. Talk to you later.